You are listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda. On this episode, I'm glad to welcome Zach Jaffery and Josh Robbins to the podcast. Zach recorded the music you just heard in that great cover, and Josh recorded the vocals. Josh and Zach have never met, and this episode explores how this cover came to exist. But can I just revisit something about the Superbowl Patriot 36 episode? That was by far the hardest episode we ever made on this podcast for a very specific reason. Keith and I recorded that episode in 2021, and we were having an issue with Zoom, so we recorded the entire thing on Zencastr, which is the only time we ever use Zencastr. When we hung up the call, my audio was corrupted, but Keith's audio worked perfectly. So I freaked out for a little while, and then in sort of a manic state, which I've kind of blocked out of my memory, I spent the next 10 or 11 hours painstakingly recreating the conversation that Keith and I had. I basically had a conversation, line by line, with a recording of Keith's voice, but not with him live. I didn't feel like re-recording, basically. So if you want to hear the weirdest episode we ever made, go back and listen to episode 62, where I had a conversation with a recording of Keith while he hung out at his apartment hundreds of miles away, none the wiser. So, thank you to Josh, and thanks to Zach for this cover and for the cool conversations. And also, just want to throw back to episode 62 and thank Jeff Owens from the band Goya and the band Secret Iris for the cover and the conversation on episode 62. And because I love Jeff's cover so much, I'm going to play it again before we get into these conversations with Zach and Josh. So please enjoy the cover from Jeff Owens and then my conversations with Zach Jaffery and Josh Robbins.
Super Bowl, Patriots cheer, halftime propaganda, fake titties, tooting trumpets, freedom is in lights. Shit's out from post-hippie, call me Sir Paul McCartney's multimillionaire fucking mouth. Machine guns raised, kegs secure, beers held high. The liars in the house, Kid Rock is in the house. We're doomed, fucking doomed, fucking doomed. We're doomed, fucking doomed, fucking doomed, fucking doomed, fucking doomed, fucking doomed, fucking doomed. Ah, fuck!
Zach Jaffery, welcome to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Greg.
Zach, I'm delighted that you're here. We've kind of collaborated a little bit over the last couple of years on a couple of little cool things for the podcast. I'm wondering if you can just introduce yourself a little bit to the listeners out there so they know just a little bit about who you are and what you do in the world.
Yeah, my name's Zach. I am a college student right now and been a fan of propaganda since my senior year in high school, which was not that long ago. This was around when Victory Lap came out. I remember coming across resisting tyrannical government and just falling in love, and then I slowly started branching out into the rest of Less Talk. And then, now I'm just a huge fan of, every song. So
Awesome. Zach, are you in your early 20s now?
I am, correct.
Okay, cool. It's awesome because I'm 41. And so to be talking to somebody 20 years younger than me who feels strongly about this band as well is awesome for me, because sometimes I get siloed into thinking that it's like, just this old guy's band who got popular in the 90s and people cling to it. But to see someone a lot younger than me is into the band as me is really fantastic and makes me feel like kind of like less of an old geezer. So thank you for making me feel a little more relevant today.
Yeah, I think there's something about especially with the earlier tracks, I don't want to say like teenage angst, that might be a bit too disrespectful, but that like the passion for the things that they talk about, that's like hits so hard when you're especially young, right?
Mm-hmm. So was Let's Talk More Rock your intro to the band, or was it Victory Lap? How'd you find them?
Yeah, yeah. It was specifically resisting tyrannical government. I think it was on Spotify makes these like curated playlists, and it was, I don't know, I had been listening to a lot of NoFX, and it was like, hey, you might like these propaganda guys. I was like, I do. Yeah. And
Awesome.
then probably Victory Lap next, and then everything else after that.
You know what's so funny about the fact that you found Less Talk first and then Victory Lap is that I see those records as very linked in my mind stylistically because like after Less Talk, they obviously got so much heavier and they did, Empires and Potemkin and Supporting Cast, Failed States, all very heavy, dark records with a lot of speed and a lot of power behind them. But then I see Victory Lap almost as like a perfect amalgamation of the melody and the catchiness of Less Talk combined with like the riffiness and some of the heaviness of those later era records. Like think about Cop Just Out of Frame, how catchy that song is, but how it has that noodly mathy riffy part right in the middle of the song. So I think that's really cool that you found those two records as kind of your entryway because then I think that makes the heavier stuff in the middle years a little more accessible. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, that's a great connection I hadn't really thought about. Yeah, you're totally right. It makes it a bit more approachable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something, I guess, a little along with darker, a little more, I don't want to say complicated, but a little more intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been doing some music for the podcast for almost 2 years now, off and on. Tell me a little bit about your musical journey as a musician yourself.
Been playing piano for, most of my life. And then in my late teens, started getting into like guitar and stuff like that. And yeah, when I started playing guitar and started listening to Propaganda, it seemed kind of intuitive to try my best to play some of their songs, which is easier said than done sometimes. But yeah, yeah, I'm trying to think. I've done 2 covers for the show. Yeah, I play a couple other instruments, but not many that lend themselves to the punk thrashiness of Propaganda. A mandolin cover would be interesting.
Well, I invite you to do so. So definitely consider that if anything ever any strikes your fancy, you are warmly and encouraged to do that. Any bands? Ever play any bands, or are you just kind of like a musician in your room, kind of hobbyist?
Some stuff in high school, like random talent show acts, but nothing that I would consider good music.
Nice.
Fun.
So 2 years ago, geez, almost 2 years ago, we put out a 30th anniversary of How to Clean Everything retrospective episode where Steve and I broke down every single song and we included more than 30 covers from the record. And I put out a ton of calls on Instagram for people to submit covers of their choice. And you did something really interesting because you did a How to Clean Everything medley where you went through a bunch of different songs in 3 minutes and connected them all pretty seamlessly. It was really cool. But you're not the only medley. There's also an electronica medley in there as well. So you did one of the 2 medleys that are on that episode. Tell me a little bit about what you remember about doing that medley version and what was fun or interesting about that process.
Yeah, so that was super fun and also really challenging. Um, I wanted to find a way to kind of stitch everything together, and also keep it like recognizable. Like I'm sure there could have been easy parts of the songs to put in or this and that, but without the vocals, I really wanted to make sure I had like the big riffs in there so that it was instantly recognizable. Oh, this is this song or that song.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, I probably spent the same amount of time recording as I did like listening through the songs and saying, okay, this is going here, this is going there. And then I think it turned out really well. I'm super proud of what I came up with. Yeah, I think it's just 1 or 2 guitars, drums and bass. I don't play drums, but I, just like threw together some MIDI backing track. Yeah, it was great. I would if I were doing it again, I would love to see it sped up a tiny bit. That would be my self-critical nitpicking, but we'll chalk it up to my guitar playing.
What's your rig rundown? What are you running over there for gear wise?
I got this 7-string Schecter
Mm-hmm.
that I suck at using the 7th string, but I don't know. It's a beautiful guitar. I love playing it. And then I don't have a mic actually, so I just record straight into my computer with a Scarlett interface. But
Cool.
I go back and forth between distortion pedals and I have I don't know if you're familiar with Neural DSP's Gojira plugin. Yeah, but I love that thing.
Nice. Yeah, I run a Scarlett as well, just into my own computer here, so very familiar with that setup. I don't you just love how accessible making good sounding music is for people these days? I just like it blows my mind considering that I was playing in bands in like 1997, 1998, and how we would stand there in front of my dad's 1970s stereo with a microphone plugged into the headphone jack and hold a microphone up in the air. Like my friend would record us holding a microphone in the air while my band played. It was just the dumbest thing ever. And I'm just so amazed at how good people can make music sounding now for very, very little. It's so accessible these days. And I'm loving it because it makes the podcast better, you know?
Yeah, it's great. I've really only grown up with everyone being able to make music. So to me, it's just like second
Normal.
nature that it's for everyone. And that's, I don't have maybe all the experience you do with the trials and tribulations, but it's a privilege that I am happy that many of us have.
Yeah. Well, Zach, before we move on to talking about your next cover, I just want to tell everybody that I'm going to stick Zach's How to Clean Everything medley on the conclusion of this episode. So those of you who stick around to the end will be able to revisit that. But you can also find Zach's How to Clean Everything medley at the timestamp of 4 hours and 54 minutes and 50 seconds on our 30th anniversary How to Clean Everything episode from May 31st, 2023. If you wanted to go back and find that entire 5+ hour discussion about the 30th anniversary of How to Clean Everything. Zach, let's move on. Potemkin City Limits. Tell me about your thoughts about this record that the next cover comes from. Tell me about the record as a whole in your view.
Yeah. So as far as all of their records, this one is maybe my least favorite, which
Interesting.
So it's not that I dislike it, just that when I'm going to listen to music, it's rarely my first option.
Mhm.
That said, there are, a ton of amazing songs on it. I love Superbowl Patriot, part of why I made the recording of it. But yeah, I think it's just one of the albums that just kind of is in the middle of all their records, at least at this point. And so for me, I guess it just kind of gets unfortunately left by the wayside.
Yeah. Is it one of the records that you checked out like kind of last? Is it one of the ones that you just kind of, as you evolved in your fandom and exploring their back catalog, just kind of hit later on in your journey?
Exactly. It may have been the last one.
Excellent.
So that might be part of it too.
Well, you probably know a little bit about the story of that record and that when it came out, it was universally, like not universally, but it was slightly disliked by the fans of the longtime fans of the band. And it only recouped its expenses for recording just a couple of years ago. So it only took the record, going on 2 decades to turn a profit. And so the band has been kind of amazed by the cult following of this record over the years and how it's kind of gained in popularity. So keep sticking with it. Keep coming back to it because it might be more of a grower for you as your life passes. It certainly has been for me. I think it took until, man, just 3 or 4 years ago until I was really taken by the whole entire package of Potemkin. So keep giving that a go as my recommendation for you as you keep exploring the band. So I don't remember why you did this. Did I put something on Instagram like asking for covers about this? Like, why did you do this? Was this just for fun?
Yeah, it may have been some tweet, or it may have been me just messing around and saying, "Hey, why don't I send this in?" So, yeah,
Okay.
I don't recall it. This is, I don't know, is this 2 years ago? I don't even remember at this point.
Let me look on my list here. So the Super Bowl Patriot episode originally aired in September of 2021. as episode 62. There's another great cover on that episode, a really goofy, fun cover by my friend Jeff Owens from the band Goya. So good. His cover is phenomenal. If you haven't heard it, it's a real riot. Maybe I'll sample that a little bit in this episode too. But okay, so tell me what was fun and interesting about this one, because you did it as an instrumental. There's no vocals on the original version that you sent in. So tell me about this process for you.
I think it was part of it was me looking to, I guess, get more practice with making full songs rather than just whatever playing along guitar with the song, and the shortness of Superbowl made that really appealing. And I would say it's not the hardest song that there's to play. It's a little more like the riffs are a little more repetitive, but also really fun. Like the I don't know, back and forthness of the melody with the these power chords changing strings is just makes it really, I don't know, it's a really fun song to play. And also just it just drives, it just rocks. So,
How many guitar tracks are on the digital audio interface session that you did?
2. Yeah. I think there's a left and a right.
Okay, and it's just the exact same thing. It's just like is there any differentiation between the two guitars?
Yeah, there are a couple parts where they split, but for the main riff, it's just doubled.
Okay, sweet. What about the bass? Any interesting commentary that catches you about the bass riff in there at all?
I honestly don't remember what I did for the bass. There's like a good chance I just took like the root of the chords, played them on a guitar, and brought them down an octave. Like, it was, very, very just MacGyvered, but
Nice. Okay, I love it.
yeah.
Okay, so you sent me the track, and I was like just impressed by the instrumental. I thought it was really cool. I didn't really have a way to use it for quite some time, so I sat on it, and then I just had this idea that my friend Josh Robbins, who did a vocal cover for This Is Your Life, Propagandy put an instrumental for This Is Your Life from Supporting Cast on their demos release that they did on Bandcamp. And I was like, man, how cool would it be to have somebody do vocal covers over this? And Josh did this ripping vocal cover for This Is Your Life. And it was like, ping, I had an idea, sent him your version, and he tweaked around with it, played around with it, screamed his head off in his house for a while, and sent in a vocal performance version, which I then sent to you. Tell me your thoughts on Josh's performance.
Yeah, that was just incredible. I mean, you sent me the email, and I was like, "Holy, Josh killed it." I sent the recording to my dad. I was like, "Look at this! Isn't this amazing?" Yeah, I could not have been happier that someone took my guitar and made the song sound like that. I think I sent you the original track saying, "Hey, if you or a friend wants to throw some vocals down, please do." And
Yeah.
I didn't know if anything would come of it, and the wait was well worth it. I'll say that.
Well, I tell you what, you put stuff in the world, you never know what's going to happen with it. A lot of times it goes nowhere, and sometimes it did. And Josh actually struggled with it. I'm not going to tell you what he said because I want you to be able to hear it fresh when he tells the story of recording it on the interview. But he actually found it to be challenging. He had to do a little tweaking on the file, just in this tiny little spot, but he'll tell the story better than me. But it was a blast, and I was so glad that we were able to get this cover done and completed and submitted, make this fun episode about it, get to hang out with you, get to meet for the first time. I got to hang out with Josh for the first time, and Josh has been doing stuff on the podcast for a long time too, so to be able to bring it all together. Where are you? Are you in the Midwest?
I am, yeah, in Chicago right now.
So you're in Chicago, I'm in Buffalo, Josh is in Oregon, so we got all sides of the country here represented to make this episode, and it's just like fun. I just love doing these little goofy things to bring people together on totally random stuff. Josh rocked it, you rocked it. Super glad that you've done a couple of things now for the podcast. So Zach, I mean, is there any other details that stand out to you about your fandom of Propagandy or Superbowl Patriot or anything else that you haven't gotten to say that you'd like to?
Can't wait for the new record. That's all
Awesome.
I'm going to say. Yeah.
we're down to a couple of weeks, and this episode will be out before the record comes out. And you know, if listeners are listening this deep in the episode, I will say that I've got a sweet episode lined up for release day, for the podcast. So a little teaser there. Zach, dude, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and chatting with me about your medley from How to Clean Everything 30th anniversary, and also your cover of Super Bowl Patriot 36. Been a pleasure. Thanks for hanging.
Thanks for having me.
Superbowl, Patriot, halftime propaganda, fake TV studios, dumb and freedom to lights. Shit, stuff up, bullshit, we call me soft, overcurtain, smoking, yelling in our fucking mouth. Machine guns wave, case secure, beers held high. Liars in the house, bottles in the house.
Josh Robbins, welcome to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda.
Thanks for having me, Greg. It's great to be here.
Josh, I am so delighted that you're here, and discerning listeners may remember something insane that happened on this podcast quite some time ago, where it was just an episode of me and Keith and random guests making noises, humming and sounding out music, and that was made by you. And I just want to hear the story of this experience for you before we talk about anything important. I want to know a little bit about that whole thing that you did a while back for the podcast.
Yeah, that was. I gotta say, that was completely bonkers of me to do. Now that I think about it, but and I don't know if I should apologize to the listeners, but
Dude, it was amazing, amazing.
You were a great sport about it. I didn't know if it was gonna. I don't know. I kind of thought maybe like you could have possibly taken it like I was making fun of you guys, you know, but you guys, it was like you were so excited about it, and like luckily you like got the funniness behind it, and like so. But yeah, no, I started listening to you, going back, because I don't know how I really came across your show, but I know I started like around episode 3, like really early.
Yeah.
And I just listened at work all the time, and it's like quickly became my favorite podcast, because it's like I have nobody to dork out or nerd out about propaganda with, like in my friend circle so much. So anyway, so I was just I think I got like 25 episodes in, and I started, I kept noticing mostly you making drum sounds and guitar squeals, and
Yeah.
and I don't know, it just came to my head. It was like, man, like it'd be cool to like clip those together or something, and just at least have a record of all those little moments, I guess. And so I started taking screenshots at work, like every time anybody would make a noise, and I got like 60 something episodes in, and I decided to finally like download all your episodes and splice all that stuff out. And my original idea was actually to try to make a song out of it, like
Oh man, that would be so cool too, but it's probably just not quite complete enough, I would imagine.
No, I started like looping some of your drum beats, and like,
Wow.
you know what I mean, and like, oh, here's a drum fill, I'll put a drum fill there, and like here's a bass thing that Greg did, and like it actually became like a garbled mess. It was actually, I had to abandon it pretty quickly. But anyways, I had to finally get all that stuff together anyway, like all those clips, and I didn't edit it whatsoever. I was just slamming them together randomly, and then it ended up being like 17 minutes worth, and I was like, this is like too much. So I just sent it your way, like just how it was. And yeah, if anybody wants to go back and listen to it, I dare you.
I mean, it was truly one of my favorite things ever. And I just want to look up the date that I actually released it. Okay, so it came out on November 16th, 2023. And Josh, my favorite thing about it is that someday when I am dead, my daughter will be able to hit play on that episode and be like, wow, my dad was certifiably insane. So the entire thing is like for me, like the only reason I tell all these stories online, a lot of it is I love hanging out with my friends and having a good time and stuff like that and doing fun, creative things. But I think so often about how much of this stuff is like storytelling of me, going through my life and talking to my friends and stuff, and how it maybe could be some kind of useful tool for her someday, So the fact that she
Yeah.
gets to listen to me like being like "Ooh," and stuff like that nonstop is so fun. My favorite part is the when I sing that part from Dyer's Eve by Metallica where I go, "Dear mother, dear father," like that part. When I heard that, I think I was drinking something and I just went "Whoa," like straight through my nostrils. And I listened to it so many times.
My favorite part is when Keith is like saying something about like,
I want you to
I
want.
want you to want me.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is monotone?
Yeah.
I want you to want me. I need you to need me.
And then the next clip was like, I didn't intentionally do it. It was like, it was separate from it, but it just happened to be the next one. And you go, oh, Megan.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The best. So that project absolutely blew my mind, dude. So I just want to also
another one
thank you.
coming, but
That would be amazing. Part 2. Did I just say that out loud? Part 2. And
I
our
don't know if it'll be as good, but
oh, it's a great artifact. So anyway, Josh, tell the listeners how you got into propaganda a little bit, because you to go along on this journey with this insane podcast, you got to be kind of a committed fan of the band at this point. Tell me a little bit how you got into them.
yeah, I think it really started like how most people of my age did. Like I'm a kid of the 90s. I'm 45 years old. So like, you know, the mid 90s, like right when I was a teenager, was like when everything was exploding, just like insane music. And like my first drug was Nirvana, honestly. And and then I eventually like got into skateboarding and, being a little bit rebellious teen and hanging out with the wrong crowd, I guess. And they had, you start picking up on music from people around you. And I kind of got in, I couldn't really buy music that much because I was raised in a pretty strict, fundamentalist household. So I was like listening to like music from my friends and they would buy CDs and I'd go to their houses or whatever. But no, I think the first time I heard Propaganda was I, it's hard to remember all this stuff, but I think I went to like some apartment party with some other punks and somebody was put on fat music for fat people. And I guess the first time I heard them or any really like fat record stuff. And then I got my hands on Punk and Trouble like around 95 when it came out. I think it was 94 or 95 and just fell in love with that sound, I guess. And yeah, and then my best friend who we were in a band together. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he really bought a lot of that stuff. And we just drive around in his car listening to CDs, and he had Survival of the Fattest.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that nation state's like, it just, that guitar riff, I was a young aspiring guitar player, so it's just like, what is this? This is like, so like I had to try to learn it. And of course I couldn't back then, but no, yeah, I finally like bought their CDs. Like it's not like a cool story. I think I just went to the local mall
Yeah.
and I got How to Clean Everything and Let's Talk More Rock. That's like when I got into them was when the second album was out. And I got bought it from like Sam Goodies or some shit.
Yeah.
And
It was like the CD was like 1798 or something crazy.
yeah. And yeah, just of course, like everyone else just fell in love with them. And was just like blindsided by like not only like incredible music, but ideas that I didn't even know existed. I was like a confused teen, like
Of
just,
course.
like, and he did it so perfectly though. Now that I think about it some more, it's like, of course, like they make you like self-reflect, like, you start listening and you're like, wait a minute, am I the problem?
Mm.
you know like, wait, am I the sexist? Am I the racist? You know, like,
Yeah.
as a teenager, like, do I have horrible ideas? But at the same time, you listen to their music, it's like they're also self-deprecating and calling themselves out, you know? So
Yeah.
it invites you to, I don't know, just look at yourself but you're not you're being preached at, but you're not being like totally ridiculed as if they're better than you, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important lessons of the band is the self-reflectiveness as opposed like the ideas and everything and exposing you to new concepts is so important, but the self-reflectiveness is just encouraging everybody to be like, don't feel like you have all the answers. Like you can
Right.
change, you can grow, you can develop. You're not a stagnant, static creature that is incapable of growing beyond what you currently are. It's a really powerful subplot of the band's
Yeah,
songs.
absolutely. Like my favorite line is, I'll call you on your shit. Please call me on mine.
Yeah.
You know, like that inviting someone to call them on it because he wants to be told he's wrong if he is wrong, you know,
Yeah.
not like a closed mindedness. Like, hey, if I got something wrong, let me know and I'll let you know, and we can grow together and make this shithole planet better. Actually, like that line just really like did it for me as a kid, and
Yeah.
helped me develop into a hopefully decent human being. Like I kind of sometimes you said that like could have easily have been some fascist Nazi.
Absolutely.
Growing up.
Absolutely. We
Oh, that's
recorded, yeah, I mean, we recorded the White, Proud, and Stupid episode a couple days ago that we haven't released yet, but it made me think about a lot of the stuff I said on the Dead Fascist episode, where it's like, man, I was hanging out with people that were into saying, yes, I am a racist. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
were saying all this stuff. And I was like, okay, guys, like me. I hope you think I'm cool. And it's just a random series of events that I didn't go down
Yes.
one thing like that. It's just pure luck. Pure luck.
Well, the first time I saw Propaganda was on their Today's Empire Tomorrow's Ashes tour. And it was with my wife, actually. We're still together. So it was like one of our early first dates. And they came to it's a famous place in Portland called La Luna, but it's gone now. It was called Pine Street Theater when Propaganda played. And it's kind of funny that he's wearing a No Effect shirt at the show. But I wanted to look for the show on YouTube, and like unfortunately, like there's nothing to it but one video from that tour. And I'm glad that one video exists. But hey, Greg, you want to guess what song it is?
Ska Sucks.
You got it, buddy.
No way. Oh, that song will never die. It is an epic accomplishment in their culture.
No, yeah. So you can find that show, but Scott sucks, so whatever.
God, that's funny. Josh, you've done a little bit more in the podcast than just the Did I Just Say That Out Loud episode. You also contributed a vocal cover from This Is Your Life. The band has demos for the entirety of supporting cast on their Bandcamp page. And when we were making the This Is Your Life episode, I was like, hey, there's a vocalist demo online if anybody's ever wanted to sing with Propaganda as your backing band. And you did it. What do you remember about that This Is Your Life vocal performance that you did for the podcast?
Yeah, that was, I don't know, challenge accepted kind of thing. Like he put it out there and it's like, oh man, like I get a chance to sing to like actual Propaganda, like it's their music, and so I gave it a try. And yeah, I mean, I normally enjoy like melodic style singing, Propaganda stuff. I don't really sing along to Todd stuff like in my car mostly because it's just hard to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, you posted this demo version, and The only thing that sucked about it is that the audio quality was pretty awful for that.
Yeah.
And but no, it was really fun to do. I had to get my family to leave, and I didn't have long until my voice gave out. But because you only have like 15 minutes before like takes before it starts to like squeak and sound like you're going through puberty, and then another maybe 15 minutes until it completely goes out. And so, but no, that was a fun one to do. But yeah, you'll notice that Todd doing softer songs now, because I think he's had a lot of struggles. It's tough, man, to do those screaming songs. But yeah, I've done 2 now. So
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the new one. Okay, so Super Bowl Patriot, the Super Bowl Patriot episode had a cover on it, which was a instrumental. And so it was really cool. Zach, who made the cover, did a really good job on the music. And I was just curious if to like kind of get it done, I was like, man, I got this cool instrumental cover of Super Bowl Patriot just kind of kicking around here. And I told Zach, I was like, I'll try to find somebody to sing over it. And it just kind of didn't happen. And then I was looking back at some of the past stuff that has been on the show, and I was like, oh man, Josh really kicked some ass on that. This Is Your Life cover. So I put it over to you, and I was like, Josh, another challenge. So tell me a little bit about what happened with this one, because it wasn't as simple and straightforward as we originally would have anticipated.
no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was awesome to get the email from you. And I was at work, and I was like, yes, I'll do it. Super excited. And, I started listening to it at work, and I'm kind of thinking about it. And I get in my car and I load up the lyrics, because I didn't really know. I'm like off,
Right.
and and I kind of try to sing along as I'm driving home, and I immediately regretted telling you that I was gonna do it, because I mean, can we talk about how many words he spits out in this song? Like, those verses, especially. I actually like looked into it. It was like, each verse is only 4 seconds long, and
Wow.
and in each 4 seconds he does like 25 syllables.
Dang.
It's insane. I challenge anybody to try to actually sing along to it, but yeah, I had to practice quite a bit. And then anyway, I finally got time to record, and yeah, Zach's version is like really good. Like, I was actually pleasantly surprised when you sent it my way, because a lot of times, sometimes it's like it could be go either way, and
Right.
it sounded really beefy and heavy, and I liked it, so I was like excited. And yeah, I plugged it into my DAW, and I started screaming out all these verses, and I'm kind of struggling on the first one. I'm trying to get my sea legs, and I finally got the first verse, and then I get into the second verse, and I can't do it. I'm screaming about Paul McCartney's fucking mouth,
Right.
and I can't get that line out. Like, it doesn't fit, and I'm thinking it's me, because I already struggled with this song in the car, like, so I just kept trying, and my voice was going out, and I had to give up, and I was like, what is wrong? Like, and so I just felt like there was something missing in the song, and so I put up the original Propaganda version next to it, and luckily Zach did the exact same tempo as the song, and like they matched up, and then you can hear where it like starts to veer off. And so I started counting measures, and for some, I don't know what happened, I don't even know how, but it was the second verse, the one I was mostly struggling with all those syllables. There was a measure missing,
Huh.
and yeah, so then I was like, oh crap, and then I start going through the rest of the song, and it weirdly gets back on track and gets back in time, because it looks like it's almost like he added another measure, like in the bridge kind of section. And so there was a missing measure in the song, and then an added measure later. So I had to I I think it worked out really well, but I had to completely delete the second verse, and I copy pasted the first verse, and you can't really tell that one at all. But in the kind of bridge section, when I had to like cut out a measure, you can kind of, if I told you about it and where it was, you'd kind of hear it. But
Right.
no, it kind of fixed. It's such a fast song, you don't really notice anything anyway. And I felt like I fixed it pretty well. So then I was really late getting it to you because I was really busy, and
Not late at all.
because we were like, well, the song's messed up. Oh, maybe we shouldn't do it, But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I sent it to you, and here we are.
Well, I wasn't disappointed at all. Whenever you told me that there was a little flaw, that was, I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. No worries. Like, it's not like an emergency. And so, I was thinking about it for another project, but then once you did complete it, it was too late for that other project, but it was like, well, we got to make an episode about this song now, because why the heck not? I mean, I make episodes on this podcast about anything. There's an idea, we're making it. So, and plus we get a chance to get together and hang out on a Saturday afternoon, Irene. That's a great reason to make an episode, is to talk about this, all the funny things that you've done for this podcast. Yeah. Just at random points in the last 5 years. It's so funny to me. I love it.
I just want to say one thing. I'm just with this song especially, I'm surprised I didn't get the cops called on me for like domestic disturbance or something. Because I'm like in my room screaming like, we're fucking doomed. We're fucking doomed. And then like, I had to keep doing takes of what is it? Fake titties tooting trumpets. So I'm screaming fake titties tooting trumpets like over and over. And like I people should know the layout of my house a little bit. Like this area is like the houses are crammed together, and mine especially. Like my neighbor's windows, like I can reach out and like we could borrow like a cup of flour or whatever from the windows. So close, dude. So I can imagine like my neighbor, like all he's hearing is like, we're fucking doomed. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's funny. But
oh my god, do you ever like give your neighbor a heads up, be like, shoot him a text and be like, listen, I'm about to do some crazy stuff out here. There's nothing wrong.
No, I actually don't talk to my neighbor. Like he's kind of newer, and then he's like really secluded, and then works a lot, so I don't really talk to him.
Okay.
In fact, my wife and I think that something may have happened to him. So
he's just that quiet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, well, Josh, what a pleasure to get you on the podcast and, chat about the various things you've done here over the years. They've all been so enjoyable and appreciated by me, and keeping in touch randomly here and there for the last 5 years has been a real thrill. Like the amount of friendships that I've been able to make because of this podcast just makes me so happy. And it's like, hey, if you ever come to Buffalo, let's hang. And if you ever come to LA, let's hang. And if you ever come to Chicago or Winnipeg or Vancouver, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where this little network just kind of spreads out. And I just try to, spread some positive energy into the world and have some fun with people who love this music as much as I do. And I am delighted that you've been able to collaborate with me several times over the years and now come on as a guest, even though technically you hosted the I had to say that out loud episode because I made you record an intro. I was like, all right, you got to record an intro for this because this is gonna be an episode. So to be able to have a real conversation about some of these tunes and projects you've done means a ton, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Me too, and thank you, Greg, for all the hard work that you do on the show. Like I know it's insane. I can't even imagine how much work. And you must have a well-paid team of researchers over there because
I got the cats. Look, the cat's even left. There's a cat up in that cat tree right over there.
He's researching something.
Oh, there's his head. His head just popped up. Oh, can you see? Hold on. Where is he? Oh, there he is.
Oh, yes.
See him up there? That's Chris, my cat. And the other little black cat that was over here is Eleanor. So they are my highly qualified, team of PhD meow searchers. So it's all good, man.
Well, I'm a cat guy too. So we have a Persian cat. So.
Did you look at the
Fancy
track
cat.
listing? Did you look at the track listing for the new record?
Cat
Gazette. Cat, yeah, baby.
And you can hear a live version too. It's amazing.
I know. Well, whenever the track listing was created, my girlfriend Patricia was like, that song's about you. And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, it's probably a diss track. It's probably like saying how much you suck. And I'm like, oh my God. Or actually maybe I said that. Maybe I said it's a diss track. I don't think she said that. But anyway, Cat Guy, love it. All right. Well, Josh, maybe we'll get together again for Cat Guy in the future.
All right.
What do you say?
Sounds awesome, Greg. Thanks so much, man.
All right, Josh. See ya.
All right. Bye.